I want to pause this music. My goodness, that is terrible.
I know, right?
It's always something, isn't it?
Yep.
Always something. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing that your mic is picking up on that. Man, there's got to be some way to get them to turn that down out there. Goodness gracious. Yeah, anyway, I guess we're just I'm gonna have to put a introductory and apologize for the audio on this one too. We can't control outside influences, I suppose.
Yep.
Anyway, okay, so I guess we can.
Yeah, I think we should just go ahead.
It's completely distracting to me.
I know.
Alright. Well, let me get us started here, get all my recordings going. So, alright, let me start recording over here. And then let me. I don't. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. So apparently I can't. Something's got me jacked up, and I can't record on Podcastle. So.
Okay, so I can't use BetterHelp because it's a membership and not like an actual appointment basis. Great.
All right, let's try this again. So, all right, let me start the recording over here. That's good. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 95 of the Gene Pool Variety Hour. Welcome to the hot box because my air conditioner is super hot up here in the attic. And welcome to the noise box on Connor's end because apparently there's a party going on outside his apartment.
Yep.
So it's always an adventure here at the Gene Pool. And here we are. So, but we're back and we're going to fight through it. And hopefully those people outside will stop at some point because it is completely distracting to me. But anyway,
it really is.
So I don't know what we're gonna do. We're just gonna fight through this, so y'all can just enjoy the party outside as we are enjoying the party inside. So welcome again to the episode 95. I'm Sean. I'm the dad. I'm the old guy of the group. The guy on the other side of the screen is.
Hey guys, what is up? I am Connor, also known as Quillmeister, and I am that beautiful skunk-bearded man's son.
Okay. Anyway, for those that don't know, I have some white stripes in my beard, so apparently that's a skunk beard. Anyway, so listen, we got some fun stuff we're going to talk about. We got this movie that we watched, a Russian supernatural serial killer movie of some kind, set in the late 1800s, early 1900s, called The Ninth. Today is the 50th anniversary of Jaws in theaters. So we're going to talk about water stuff, and I'm going to talk about Jaws stuff, and we're gonna just kind of go down that rabbit hole. And I'm sure Connor will have some other rabbit holes that we'll go down. So,
Obviously.
yeah. So anyway, so where do you want to get started today? What do you want to start with?
Huh. I am excited to be getting my Xbox back, and I'll be able to play all those games I've been wanting to play all year.
Yeah.
Woo woo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
that'll be fun.
So what's the first thing on your agenda? What's the first game?
Well, let's see. Most likely going to be South of Midnight because that's the one I know that's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Wilds is also on Game Pass, that'll be a close second, but I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. So,
that'll have to be something that'll have to be something I save up for, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I've been really heavy back into Borderlands lately because it's something I can just play by myself.
And that is some. But think about it. We can start playing together.
I know.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Right.
Yeah.
So, there was some good news that came out for Borderlands 4 today.
Yeah.
Because I've been watching a lot of the previews and stuff, and one of the things
I'm excited for it.
One of the things that first was mentioned about it is that there's no mini map, which is kind of weird that they decided not to do a mini map.
There's always a mini map though.
Well, not in Borderlands 4. There's not, and they said the reason why was because there's so much more vertical traversal in Borderlands 4 because now you have glide, you have double jump, you have grapple hook, all these kind of things. There's so much more vertical stuff. They said that a mini map would be confusing. Most people didn't buy that, but that was their excuse. And a lot of
they could have worked on some kind of like 3D rotating mini map, kind of like in a Jedi Fallen Order, Oh well, Cal Kestis, that guy.
Yeah.
His mini map kind of functioned as you could see the horizontal and see what was discovered, but then you could also move up and elevate and see the vertical as well.
Okay. Well, you're getting a little ahead of yourself because I'm getting there. Okay. So they had some content creators, like people that do a lot of Borderlands videos, Killer Sex, and a bunch of those guys. They had them out to Gearbox to do some play testing and last week, I think it was last week because all their videos were coming out last week, just kind of getting to play Borderlands 4 and talk about it. They only got to play 2 characters, very circumscribed area of the map, but they got to play it and give their impressions, and they got to circumscribed, very, very contained.
I thought I thought you mispronounced circumcised.
I did not say circumcised. No. Anyway, and
that's a Jewish chicken.
Yeah, there you go. Well, hi, but anyway, so
Oh, come on! You have to admit, I would make for a great Tevye. I could play a great Tevye. Yeah. I've got the voice. I've got the body. I've got the boisterous laughter.
Except you're a Baptist from Georgia, not a Jew from Russia.
Yeah, but if I was acting,
I know. Anyway, so one of the things that and after they got done, they got to actually sit down with the developers and talk to the developers. And one of the things that they noted, and you see it in all the gameplay stuff, that when they're battling and when they're fighting, there's like a little horizontal line at the top of the screen, which is kind of like your radar. And it's got it's got the north, and as you turn, it'll show west and east and south. And so it's got red dots on that bar, so to speak, which shows you the direction of where enemies are.
The enemies are.
But it's completely flat. It's just a bar. And so even though they talk about how, it's so vertical, there's no way of knowing where your enemies are, whether they're above you, below you, or anything. Hold on. Let me finish.
But how do you find objectives?
That's
the question.
I'm getting there. Okay? I'm getting there. Let me quit jumping the gun. Let me tell the story. And they were.
Here's the gun. This is me. Boom.
So they were let them know, the developers know, there's no way to know where anything is. Yes, you have these dots up there, but you don't know if they're above you or below you or anything like that. And some of those dots could be directly behind you, but they're in the same plane with you, so they look like they're in front of you. And it was just really confusing. And they don't have the mini map to show your objective anymore. Now you've got a little robot that goes with you. I forgot what it called him, what his little name is, but he goes with you everywhere. And you can hit a button, and he'll show you a little glowing line towards your objective. And when you get
Okay,
close,
so it's almost like that spell clairvoyance in Skyrim.
right, okay, and it can show you it can show you the dot on that radar where your objective is. But say you're in a building, and to get to that dot, you've got to go east, west, south. You go up, down, all over the place to get to
Yeah,
that dot. But technically, it's in front of you. But so they were just saying it makes navigation virtually impossible and very frustrating. They told the devs that last week. They've already implemented a solution.
yeah,
They put in a 360-degree radar up in the top right corner of the screen
yeah.
that shows the red dots of all your enemies and puts a little up or down arrow next to each enemy to show you whether they're above you or below you. So it's not a full
Okay,
so
so
it's not a full mini map, but it's a pretty good compromise. They put that in a week in the game. They talked to the developers hopped on it and implemented that in a week. Now they're going back out this week because this weekend they get all these content creators get to do some live streams with the game. And
that's pretty cool.
so that radar has not been implemented into the build that they're going to be playing yet, but it's in the game now and it'll be ready by release. So
Okay,
that to me more than having a solution, the fact that the devs actually listened and responded that quickly to legitimate concerns that fast, to me is a really good sign for that game. So I'm
oh
really
yeah,
super looking forward to. I've pretty much decided that because of the cost of that game and the cost of the Destiny expansion, I'm pretty much going to go with the Borderlands expansion, Borderlands game, and consider the Destiny expansion down the road. I'm going to kind of wait and see what Brandon and Mitch have to say about it because they're making some major changes to the game. I worry that it's going to make it more, like I said last week, more of a grind. They've got a new mechanic in there that makes it very kind of Metroidvania-like, which going back and forth to finish stuff that I don't like. So, because I just don't like that stuff. Oh, so
sorry, my
yeah. So if you're gonna do heavy breathing like that, how about we just mute the mic? Because it makes it.
sorry.
Anyway, that's okay. That's okay. So, um, so that's a really good thing about Borderlands. It's a really easy button, buddy. It's a really easy
Okay,
button.
okay, that
Sorry, it's me being the oh god, my stinking camera started doing that moving thing again.
yep.
At least I know now to put my hand up and it'll stop it. That's kind of weird. So that's what I'm super excited about. Oh my goodness, somebody's blowing you up.
No, no. When I'm not on Discord for a little bit, on my computer, it'll just send everything to my phone.
Gotcha. So anyway, so that's the big thing. That's the big gaming thing for me this week is just the good news coming out about Borderlands 4 and just more and more excited about that because it is one of those games where I can just pick up and play solo if I want to,
That's good.
and to me it's just as fun solo as it is with friends, whereas Destiny to me is not. So anyway, so that's what's going on with me and with my nerd stuff. Anything else going on? Any other kind of fun nerd stuff or nerd updates or things like that?
Uh, no, not really.
Okay. All right. Well, where do you want to go next? You want to go movie or you want to go?
Oh, Dad, we always save the best for last.
Are you saying the movie's the best?
It's I'm saying that segment is the best.
Okay. Okay, I'm glad you clarified that it's the segment that's the best, considering the
Yeah, the
movie
movie.
considering the movie we watched this week. So, anyway, okay. So, how about we jump in and let's just do the geek question.
Yep. Hit us, Arnold.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
That was timed very well.
Right?
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So Connor came up with a neat question, kind of out of the blue, which all of his questions are out of the blue. Um, but it just so happened to coincide with today when he told me that what the question was. I'm like, awesome, because today is the 50th anniversary of Jaws in the theaters.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be a
I
great
to this
question.
day have never seen Jaws.
Yeah, okay, so we'll talk about that too. So, what's the question?
Describe your fondest memory involving water.
Fondest memory involving water.
Yes.
Man, I have traumatic memories involving water. I don't know that I have
Yeah, but
favorite ones. I'll have to think about that. So, what have you got?
let's see. One, obviously, of the memories of playing at the creek, in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Growing up.
Okay.
Though, those were always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. And then there was also that time at the lake. You there was that moment where it was just you on the jet ski, me on the Big Bertha. You were totally determined to fling me off. So you did that classic like wave tunnel kind of thing, where you just went in a
Mm-hmm.
circle and tried to like fling me off with a centrifugal force, and
Mm-hmm.
then you suddenly cut through the middle. I must have gotten like full rope extension of air,
Mm-hmm.
and then plopped straight back down, never once let go.
Yeah.
And I could see the disappointment on your face
Wow.
when I still held on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess fond memories of water. I guess spending time, pulling you guys around on the jet ski out at mom and dad's on the lake was a cool memory, and just heading out on the jet ski and going as fast as we could and stuff. I thought that was fun. I guess fond memories on the water are all the river trips I went with with your granddaddy and all of his
Oh yeah.
buddies. Those were fun. Um,
You never once let me go with you.
because you weren't
Never
old enough.
once.
You weren't old enough. So, um, so yeah, because you just weren't old enough. Just leave it at that. So I guess those are fond memories, but I have more traumatic memories of around surrounding water than I do anything else. Do you have any traumatic?
For example, when you almost drowned trying to get me and Luke out of the riptide.
Well, that's a real one. Yeah, I mean, y'all were caught in a riptide, and we just noticed you guys getting further and further out, and I started yelling to you guys to come back in, and then when one of you, I forget which one of you said it, said we're trying and you couldn't. That's when we realized you were in a riptide and getting pulled out. And
Did
we
you?
don't live, you know, we lived inland in Georgia, and so we didn't live on the beach, and so I didn't realize that riptide you could kind of swim parallel to the shore to get past the riptide and then get in. I didn't realize that, so I just sheer, dad got to go save his kids thing, jumped in the water and swam out to you guys. And it was a pretty good swim to get out to you guys. And then was trying to push you guys in. And, we would try to catch a wave, and I tried to push you guys using the wave for momentum to get you pushed in. But that wave would throw me under. And I would get thrown underwater and be gasping for air right before I went underwater. And then get back up to the top of the water to grab you guys just in time to grab a breath of air and shove you guys again with the next wave and get thrown under
Yeah.
again. So the reality was, in those moments, in those split seconds, in my head, I was saying, they're going to make it because they have flotation devices. I'm going to drown trying to save them. I had that thought in my head. And finally,
Did
and at that moment, the lifeguard had come out with his jet ski thing that he had, and he was able to get us in. you know. So, and then I found out, well, you could have just swam parallel to the shore and got past it, and then you'd have been fine. I'm like, well, I'm glad I know that now as I'm sucking down
did me
salt
and
water.
did me and Luke ever tell you why we were out so deep?
No. The riptide took
Um,
you guys further out. You
no,
guys
no,
weren't.
no,
You
no.
guys didn't start out that
So
far.
no, but we kept on swimming further out because we had just seen Surf's Up, and we were both determined to try and actually surf a wave, and we were like, we gotta go deeper. The best waves are deeper.
No, that's not true. Actually, the best waves are when it's the water when it starts to get shallow.
No,
Because
you see, we didn't realize that at the time because we were stupid kids.
I
We just
mean,
saw a cool
because
movie.
because you think about it, that wave, all that water coming, but when it gets shallower because the shore is coming up, then all
Yeah.
that power pushes the water up, and that's what creates the wave.
Again, we didn't realize that at the time. We were stupid kids.
So we were all dumb.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was a real one,
Yeah.
but
The
also
other
in the
one
back,
is
also the in the back of my mind during that entire time, I mean, I had a lot of things going on inside my head. I'm about to drown, trying to save my kids. So the last thing they'll know is their dad drowning, trying to save them, and so they'll be living with the guilt of that the rest of their lives.
therapy.
Right. And in the back of my head, I had. I had that in my head. And here's why. Because we were just talking about this a while ago. Today marks the 50th anniversary of the release of Jaws in theaters. June 20th, 1970.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I forgot to hit the mute.
June 20th, 1975. Okay? I turn 57 on June 27th of this year. So that means that on June 20th of 1975, I was 6 years old. So if we saw it the weekend it came out, I was 6 years old. If we happened to see it the following week, I may have been 7. But in 1975, there were no multiplex theaters. Theaters were just one screen, right? And if you wanted to see the blockbuster, and they would show, they might show, if it was a big blockbuster movie, they would show an early show, 7 o'clock, and a late show, 9 o'clock. If it wasn't a blockbuster, they might show one movie at the early show and one movie at the late show. But if you wanted to see the blockbuster movie, there was no reserved seating and stuff like you have now. It's like you just went and got in line, and you stood in line, and they started selling tickets, and you hoped that you got there early enough to get a ticket to get in to see the movie. And so people would show up 3 hours, 4 hours ahead of time to see a movie. So we decided as a family of 5, mom, dad, my 2 sisters, and me, we decided, hey, we're going to go see this movie Jaws. I'm 6, maybe 7, maybe. If 7, I just turned 7. Okay. We get in line. We're way back in the line. We're not sure if we're going to get in. We finally get in. We get our tickets. The only place where there were 5 seats together at that point, because we were late getting into the theater, was the front row. So I'm 6 years old, maybe 7, watching a 30 to 40 foot tall shark eat people at 6 years old. Nope. Wasn't having it. Nope. Didn't have it for years after that either. It traumatized me so much. I was scared to take a bath. I would started wanting to take showers instead of a bath because I didn't want to be in that tub of water. I also didn't like swimming in pools. Look, I'm a smart guy. I was only 6 or 7, but I'm still a smart guy. I knew that there's no sharks in a bathtub. I knew there's no sharks in a swimming pool. Didn't want to get in that water anyway. I mean, it shook me to the core. The reason why I never learned how to water ski, which is a travesty, being a southerner living on a lake, never learning how to water ski my entire life, is because of that movie. I mean, I remember Dad taking me and my friends out, and they're all skiing, and I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. It was a lake. It's freshwater. I'm in high school at that point. I know there's no sharks in there, but I wouldn't do it. But dude, it's freshwater in Alabama, like mid-state Alabama, not near the Gulf. So no, and it was a reservoir. So they would have had to swim upstream up the Chattahoochee River and jump up over the dam to get into that lake. It wasn't happening.
Fair.
Even if they could survive
but
that
there
long.
are freshwater sharks.
Yeah, but they're in kind of brackish water where the ocean and the freshwater meet. They're not fully upstream in freshwater. Nope.
Look at you knowing your sharks.
I'm telling you, man. Trust me. Know thine enemy.
Know your enemy. Yeah.
That's right.
I was about to say.
So, so yeah. So I never learned how to water ski because of that stinking movie. I don't, to this day, nope. I don't play in the ocean now. I'll go get in the ocean a little bit. I'll get in maybe waist deep or whatever. No further than that. Nope. It just it created such a phobia. I mean, I had, whatever the hydrophobia. I had the, fear of water. Although that's probably not accurate because it wasn't fear of water. It was just fear of bodies of water, right? Where something could be swimming underneath me. If I couldn't touch the bottom and I couldn't see the bottom, wasn't happening. I didn't care if it was fresh water or not. So that is by far my most traumatic experience when it comes to water as a child. And it didn't even involve actual water, just a screen full of water and blood and body parts and shark teeth. And I ain't got no spit and all that stuff. So, and it is, I will say though, Connor, it is a travesty that you've never seen that movie because it is a classic movie. And I've seen it later in life. I've watched it later. And I've seen the other ones. I've seen Jaws 2, Jaws 3. I think I saw Jaws 3. Anyway, I swim in the Chattahoochee River when I go on those river trips. And there's gators all in it, right? But I wouldn't go swim out in the middle of the thing. I'd swim at the sandbars and stuff. And so I've gotten I got better. But yeah, just can't imagine what my parents were thinking, taking a 6-year-old to a movie about sharks eating people. What the hell? What the hell were they thinking? I mean, come on. What kind of parent? That's Gen X parenting right there. You're muted, by the way.
It was the 70s. I keep on hitting my mic as I scratch myself.
It was 100% Gen X parenting. Oh, shark eating people? Come on, we're going. We don't need a babysitter. You can sit and watch from the front row. Whatever. So yeah. So that's my memory of water. I'm trying to. I probably have some other not favorite, but I have some other fond memories around water. I'm going to keep those to myself. This is a family show. So I'm just going to keep those to myself. Talk amongst yourselves. Think amongst yourselves and figure it out. So, anyway. So, no more for you? Any traumatic ones for you? Besides the riptide thing?
There was that time I found that a swimming hole in Oklahoma, and I was swimming in it, and a water moccasin was just a couple feet in front of my face.
Yeah, but I don't think that was a
Swimming
water hole.
towards me.
Yeah, I thought, was that the water hole out in the pasture, or was that or was that the creek? Seems like there was
that was the broader bend of the creek. That was that was like a right behind the house.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I thought it was creek. I didn't think it was the watering hole up in the pasture that
No.
Rusty dug.
I think of course he treated that water with something that like repelled snakes but didn't harm the cows or something.
Yeah, I think so because it was like green. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He didn't mind us swimming in it though.
No.
He he didn't he even build some kind of like little dock for us
Oh,
on
he
it?
had a nice dock out there. I mean, metal frame dock and everything sticking out. You know, it was more like a pier, a little short pier sticking out. It wasn't a
Yeah.
dock. But yeah, it's still there. So I don't know how much water's in it because you know they don't work cows over there that much. He's got Rusty has a few cows, but with all his back and his knee surgeries and stuff, I don't know how much longer he's gonna be keeping cows. Or he may not even have any anymore. I can't remember if he had any last year when I was there or not. If he's gotten rid of them or not. But anyway, definitely not as many cows as your pawpaw had. So you know where they needed that big thing out there. So, but anyway, so yeah, those are my stories about water. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any other ones. Um, no, I don't think there's any other ones. I do remember. I do remember. You know the fun river trips and seeing all the gators going down. You know.
Didn't you one time tell me of like of like at one moment where you just like saw something that symbolized America with a bald eagle? Like I mean you actually saw a bald eagle swoop down and catch a fish or something while on one of those river trips?
No. That was one time when I was on the jet ski at your grandma and granddaddy's house on the lake, and I went upstream. I went up the we had Key Creek, and went kind of far up in there. And of course, there's not many houses up in there because it's more creekside, so the water's not as deep, so you can't really get a boat up there that well. And I was just sitting out there, and I was watching because there was a bald eagle up on a big tree, and I was just watching him, and all of a sudden he swooped down. He jumped off the tree and swooped down and picked out a fish out in front of me. It was kind of cool. So, anyway, my goodness, those partiers are loud out there.
I think it might be some kind of block party or something going on.
Yeah, it must be. But
On
anyway,
because it sounded like somebody is speaking into a microphone and it's
that's
being
what I was.
amplified.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was the TV earlier because it sounded like somebody talking, not so much a radio. So, so that was kind of cool. But no, I remember one time. Every time we would come out of Lake Eufaula and come out of the dam headed down to Chattahoochee towards Apalachicola, there is a sandbar right around the corner as you come out of the lock. And it's just called Suck Bend. I don't know why it's called Suck Bend. It's just called Suck Bend. And, you know, when you're going down the Chattahoochee in the summer, you'll see gators on the side, on the bank all the time. And typically when all those boats go by, those gators will just dive down into the water to get away because they don't like the noise. It scares them, and they just want to get away. Well, one time, and we used to always stop at Suck Bend. We'd stop at Suck Bend as soon as we came out, and that was the last place we'd stop before on the way home. That at the end of the weekend, and we were coming out of the lock. We're headed down towards Suck Bend. We're getting ready to stop there, and there was about a 14-foot gator, at least 14-foot gator, on the bank to the right of us.
Jeez Louise.
And instead of diving down, he literally did this. He just took his head and he literally followed each boat as it passed by. Like, I want that one, and I'll have that one with some chips, and I'll have that one with some ketchup, you know? And so as a group, we all went, yeah, let's not stop at Suck Bend this time. And we just kept going. He was a large fella. He was an imposing figure. But anyway. So enough about water. Anything else going on?
Not really.
Okay. Well, you want to talk about the movie then?
Sure.
All right. Well, stay tuned for the next episode, next segment of how do we say that anyway? I don't know. How do we say that anymore? You introduce it, and I'll hit the sound effect. I don't know anymore.
And now, everyone, it's time for the next installment of Roll for Credit.
That's the word I was looking for. Installment. English much? Apparently not. And neither was this movie. So listen, I'm so sorry. We are so unprofessional. Look, this movie that we saw is a movie called The Ninth, 2019. It's a Russian film. It's got English actors in it too, so it's kind of a mixture of Russian and English. So sometimes the dialogue is in Russian, sometimes it's in English. So you can't really turn. There's no dub track because it goes back and forth. But it is definitely a Russian film, Russian director, mostly Russian actors. The only female actor um, is the female lead. Um, and the setting of this movie is it's set in the late 1800s, early 1900s, um, like in the height of the spiritualism craze, where there was all these spiritualists that would commune with the spirits, and it was a big thing. They were all scam artists, but it was just a big thing. And this female medium, I forgot her name even. Um, she is in Russia doing some shows. While she's in Russia doing some shows, um, a um, sorry, a, a, a serial killer is on the loose, and these women, start being abducted and killed and mutilated.
Yeah.
And the
It's
clues.
may I?
Yep, go ahead.
At first, I thought it was almost like a Russian retelling of England's Jack the Ripper at the time, because it kind of had that vibe with all the women,
A little bit, a
Oh,
little bit.
just adding a little bit of an occult element to it,
Right, right. So the reality is that the Russian cop he goes to see her show because his deputy is fascinated by it, and they go to see the show. And one of the clues that they got was an egg with a pentagram on it. So he wanted to go talk to her to see if she had any insight on this clue, because it was inside this woman's body where her heart was. And so we'll get to the investigation a little bit in a minute. But flash back to the very beginning of the movie.
Yep.
She was with her husband, and they were like doing the whole Indiana Jones thing, raiding some kind of ruins because they were looking for this book. They had a they had a daughter that had died. And there was supposedly this grimoire, this book that would help them bring their daughter back. And so they went, and they were doing the Indiana Jones kind of thing. They found the book, and the husband was like, okay, so in order for this to work, honey, you got to die. I got to burn you to death. I got to burn you up on this altar. I got to put you up here and set the thing on fire and use the spells in this book to bring our daughter back. So you're going to sacrifice yourself to bring our daughter back. And wifey was like, hold on a minute. Not sure I'm on board with this plan. And
Who would be?
And as he starts to do the spells, the place starts to collapse and collapses on him. And instead of saving him, she grabs the book and leaves. Then, of course, and then she wakes up from a dream. It was a dream that she had. But it turns out that's something that really happened in that book she had, and that's what supposedly gave her her ability to communicate with the spirit world, was this grimoire. And it had been stolen from her. It had been taken from her in St. Petersburg, where she was at in Russia. And so she was contacting the police to say, hey, I need you to find my book. And then that's how the cop and she initially got connected. And then when there was this occultish themes to these murders, he started talking to her to try to see if he could get some insight from her. So she kind of became part of the investigation as well, right? And then the whole movie was basically them investigating these serial murders, and the occultish nature of them, the spiritualism nature of them, and what was going on with it. So that's kind of the premise of the movie. Like I said, it was a Russian movie. So when just the Russian characters were speaking, they were speaking in Russian. They were speaking Slavic language. And so, I typically, because I'm getting old, I typically will have subtitles on when I'm watching a new movie, especially something like this, because I want to make sure I'm getting the dialogue right. Well, I couldn't do that because half the time they put subtitles up anyway because they're speaking Russian. So then I had two sets of
Double
subtitles
subtitles.
on top of each other, and it was confusing. So I had to turn them off. So sometimes they were speaking just Russian with subtitles. Sometimes they were speaking Russian and English together, and then sometimes the Russian characters were speaking English, which was not that great, but they were speaking English. So it was just all
And
over
then
the
even
place.
sometimes the English characters were speaking Russian.
I mean, she said a few Russian words, but she didn't really speak much in Russian.
Vasily spoke a lot of English and Russian.
Yeah, but Vasily is Russian. I'm talking about the lead female. She was English, and so she didn't speak any Russian. She may have said a few Russian words here and there, but she didn't speak Russian to any of them. All the other characters spoke Russian, but would speak English to her. So whenever she was in the scene, they were speaking English, but whenever she wasn't, they were just speaking Russian. So it kind of went back and forth all the time. And so it's your typical serial killer thriller with this little occultish thing, a little bit of a period piece because it was set in the late 1800s. And it was set before the communist revolution. So it was like Tsarist Russia, it was Imperial Russia early on. And so it was, just Petersburg, they called it. Anyway, so that's the premise of the movie. The plot had the potential of being interesting and being kind of a good movie. It was not, but it had the potential to be one.
I know.
Maybe better writing, better acting, better lots of stuff. I thought the set direction was good. I thought the period pieces and the costuming and all that was pretty good, and the set design. But the movie was just and listen, I'm gonna cut him some slack. These are primarily Russian-speaking actors that occasionally had to act in a second language, and so I want to cut him some slack on that, right?
Yeah, of course.
She wasn't that good either, and she only spoke English the whole time.
Yeah.
So tell me your thoughts about the movie. I'll tell you mine in a minute. But what were your thoughts about the movie itself? What did you like? What did you not like?
I did enjoy the practical effects. They worked really hard to make this look like it was going to be a good movie.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, I agree.
I like the costume designs. Miss Reed's costume when we first see her in like her full show kind of performance, I loved that outfit. It looks like a really cool, detailed kind of thing,
Yeah, I thought costume design was good. I thought the period pieces that they wore good. I thought the set design was good. I thought the set, the houses that they were in were very Victorian looking. The external settings were very dark and foreboding. I thought all that was pretty well done. Now, the graphics, the CGI type graphics on the dream sequence at the beginning was really clearly fake. But I think that was okay because it was a dream, right? If the whole movie had been like that, it'd have been trash. But so I thought that part was well done. The storyline again could have been really interesting.
It could have been.
But the dialogue was stilted and it was broken. And again, that could be some of the language barrier stuff. But some of it was just straight up the writing. It seemed to me like there was a lot of gaps in conversations. It's like they would start responding and talking about something as if something had already been said that never got said. And so just the dialogue felt like it jumped in some places. It felt like the plot jumped in some places that I didn't. It's like, how did they get from here to there that quickly? It was a weird feeling. It literally felt like the plot was rushed along and never got anywhere at the same time. I don't know if I'm explaining myself well, but it felt like, man, this is only an hour and a half movie, and we're getting through a pretty complex plot pretty fast. But then each scene was pretty boring. So I struggled with, just missed opportunity for a good movie. So Was there anything else that you particularly liked, or any parts of the movie that kind of stuck out for you at all?
Huh.
I guess not.
No, because I mean, they didn't get a lot of the magical kind of stuff right anyway.
Well,
First,
I
first
mean, I get
off,
that.
first off, a pentagram is when that star shape is upside down. That is a pentagram.
Right.
When the star is inside a circle and right side up, it is called a pentacle. Pentacle is associated with Wiccan practices and Norse paganism. The pentagram was distorted and made into essentially the faux symbol of the devil.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
and I just thought it was kind of
so
funny that when he's showing her the egg, he's like, "Oh, do you recognize this symbol?" And I'm like, and it's like a right side up star. I'm like, well, you can flip it over. Now it's a pentagram. I mean, it's like so. There were some of those little plot nuances there that were kind of weird, but I mean, there was something else about. Okay, and so let's just talk about the in the ending. I saw the ending coming from
yeah,
the
miles
first
away.
second, from the first second of the movie. I knew who was going to be the bad guy from almost the first scene of the movie. And so
First off, let's be honest. If you see someone supposedly die in some kind of like ruin avalanche, they never die. They never do.
well, you just
They
spoiled
always
the
come
ending.
back.
You just spoiled the ending. Not like anybody's gonna watch. Oh, all right.
No.
So yeah. So look, I mean, it's not a great movie. It's one of those movies where, we've talked about this before. We love it when we find a movie that we really like. We talk a lot about it. We love movies that we run into that are so bad they're good, like Santa Jaws, right?
Oh yeah.
Or Anna and the Apocalypse or whatever.
Oh yeah.
We love movies that are so bad they're good, and then sometimes we just run into some that are just kind of bad. There's not a lot to say that we can drag this out with. Now, I will say, if you want to know where in the world, because I was curious about this too, where the name of the movie, The Ninth, came from, and they made it clear, and that was kind of interesting that
She was meant to be the ninth sacrifice.
right, because they were saying that there was had to be a sacrifice for each point of the pentagram, and then there had to be 4 sacrifices for the elements, and the final element was going to be fire. And so she knew, and that was the other clue of who the bad guy was when she says, the ninth is fire, so I know who the ninth victim is going to be. It's going to be me. I'm like, okay. So her husband didn't die, and he's back, and he's going to finish what he started. So that's what the ninth was. She was going to be the ninth victim. And of course, he tries to kill her, and the cop saves her, and all that kind of stuff. But here was the weird thing. Did you notice the weird, that when they find the house where all this stuff was going on, the cop and one of the detectives goes up into the room that's like a bedroom. There's a kid submerged in a tub.
Oh yeah.
Right? And at first it looked like a little boy, but apparently it was the little girl, and it was the daughter that had died years ago, submerged in a bathtub in a house. And I don't know how that kid wasn't. I mean, was she in suspended animation? Was she in a bathtub full of formaldehyde? I mean, what was going on? But anyway, but the weird thing was, because like the husband was saying, at the beginning that you have to die so that she can come back. Well, when he died by fire, when he died in the fire, because he was trying to set her on fire, and he died by fire. When he died by fire, the little girl got out of the tub. The little girl, her eyes open, and she sat up out of the tub.
Yep.
So, did she come back to life or not? That's interesting. So, but it really just was not a great movie. I mean, look, it was on Tubi. and it
That
was
already
like,
says enough.
well, no, there's some good movies on Tubi, but it was on Tubi, so they tend to get some of the lesser known, lesser good movies, and it was far down the list in the genre too. So it was like
Yep.
88 or whatever it was. But here's something. You've probably seen that actress before. I recognized her, and it took me a while to figure it out.
I did not recognize her.
Have you seen the Dungeons and Dragons movie?
Nope, not yet.
Oh,
I'm guessing she's the BBEG.
she's the bad person. She's the
Yeah.
bald girl wearing the red. She's the bad guy in the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was sitting there going, I know her from somewhere.
So
I think I remember her being bald. Where did I see her from? So I had
going from playing this random movie, the 9th, to being basically the lead in a highly coveted film. That's a big jump.
Well, she wasn't the lead. Chris Pine was the lead of the movie. I mean, come on. He was the lead of the movie. She was the major villain in the movie, but he was the lead in the movie. The D&D party, they were the main characters. She was just the villain to move the plot along.
BBEG is still a big part.
Still, I'm just saying that's where you'll see her from. So if you watch that movie, and it's on one of the streaming services, it may still be on Hulu or something. I don't know where it is, but it was on one of them. It may be still on Netflix. It's not bad. I didn't really like it the first time I saw it. I don't know. I think I was expecting something a little bit different. So I watched it again with more open eyes, a few months later, and it's an enjoyable movie. It's, and they do some things that are kind of accurate to D&D, but of course it's a movie with people that don't play D&D. So, I mean,
Yeah.
It's not going to be like if we made a movie about D&D kind of thing, right? With all kinds of dice rolling and stuff. Anyway, so listen, if you want to check it out just because it's an interesting concept and it's really good set design and costume design, give it a shot. It's not a good movie. It's not. That's why it's on Tubi, and it's the 88th movie in that genre or whatever. I don't know. But it's definitely something to consider. It's not one of our favorites. It's not one of the best. It's not one of the hidden gems that we found before. We found some great hidden gems, but this ain't it. So sorry about that. Kind of made for a short episode because there wasn't a lot to talk about. So why don't I just go ahead and roll for the next movie and then we'll get out of here because I am breaking into a sweat up here in this hot box. So all right, let me see what we got here. Get my knife out. All right, so I rolled a 14, and that puts us on Netflix this time. And then a 10, which would be thriller. So we're going to watch a thriller movie on Netflix. And a 34. So I'm going to pull up Netflix real quick. And I'm going to go to the thriller genre. And I'm going to find the 34th movie in that genre. And that's the one we're going to do. So y'all hang tight, and I will be right back. Wow. So apparently the planets are lining up weird today. Because you had this random question that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
About water. That just happens to coincide with
Jaws thing, right?
That happens to coincide with the 50th anniversary of the release of Jaws in the theaters. And the movie we're going to watch next week is called Under Paris, a movie from 2024.
Oh, so like just last year.
To save Paris from a bloodbath, a grieving scientist is forced to face her tragic past when a giant shark appears in the Seine River. So it is
I think it's pronounced CN
or Seine, Seine, so Seine. That French
CN.
that French river in France. Okay.
There's a lot of French rivers in France.
Okay. Listen, buddy. Okay. I sound like Mitch. Listen, buddy. No, I'm from the South. Okay. I was born in Alabama. Lived most of my life in Alabama and Georgia. Suck it. Okay. Sorry.
And yet you took Soviet Union history as a minor. So why?
History. Because I wanted to. Because they told me I had to take a minor and I didn't want to. So I'm like, screw you. Okay. I want to study Russian history. Okay. It got me my minor so I could get my degree. I didn't care because I knew I was going to grad school. So a minor didn't matter to me. Anyway.
Yeah, but you could have done something.
So it's a shark movie. After talking about the 50th anniversary of the greatest shark movie, although I'm sure some people would debate that, after we talked about water, that's just kind of a weird weird thing. So something about sharks. So and I think it's a French movie because it seems like I remember because it's set in France and the names that I'm seeing on here sound kind of Frenchy. So I know I'm probably offending people and I'm so sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody with that, but just yeah. So we may be watching it. We watched a Russian movie about serial killers. Next week we're going to watch a French movie about sharks. Next, the week after that, we're going to watch an Italian movie about frogs. I don't know. Who knows what we're going to do? So
Who knows?
apparently we got a theme going on here.
I know.
So anyway, listen, guys. Sorry for all the audio issues last week. Sorry for our block party going on outside Connor's house tonight. So I'm glad y'all have enjoyed the emceeing out there during the podcast. But it is what it is. We do the best we can. Nobody said we were good at what we do, but we have fun. So thanks for anybody that decided to stop in and pop in and say hey, and thanks for downloading and listening. Share, because look, it's just us. Oh my gosh, it's getting super loud, isn't it? The party's getting full gear.
Yeah.
So we gotta go. So y'all have a great one. Come back and see us next week. We're gonna talk about French shark movies, and we'll have a good time then. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next time. And always remember,
Stay nerdy, my friends.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.